easiest moments for people like you and I who spend our life reporting, asking questions, analysing. We're not counted as part of the professional football world like that man is, and who we both admire a lot, Lishi too. But the club found faith in Natan, because it's Natan that you're talking about, the 24-year-old Brazilian that they bought from Italian football, took him on loan, then invested in him, and he's very, very error-prone. And what you like analytically to see are the redeeming features. And I admit that when he first arrived, I thought, well, there's one of those football-playing centre-halves. He can bring the ball out quite daringly, but the variety of errors that he produces is kind of startling. And what's interesting, particularly as you say, with the very experienced Llorente and Bartra, two Spain internationals out, Valentin next to him is a young Argentinian footballer, and he's having to carry Natan a little bit.
Yeah, he was impressive in midweek. Valentin, I'm sure we'll talk about him plenty during the game. The Argentine alongside the Brazilian in the centre of Betis defence. Here is the Osasuna lineup. Herrera in goal, back three, Poyomo, Catena and Aranda. The flying wing-backs, Rosier on one side and Bretones on the other. Toro, Moncayola and Moy in the middle. And Budimir partnered by Raul Garcia with Victor Munoz waiting on the bench.
Do you find that it's interesting that it's 2 up for Osasuna today, given that exactly how we've been looking at the capacity for Natan to make mistakes when he's pressed?
Yep, absolutely, and the possibility of them playing quite close together. Let's see if that is how they play, with the width being provided by the wing-backs. And this is a moment for Manuel Pellegrini, because tonight he makes history. This is his 264th game. Nobody has coached Betis in more matches. He matched Lorenzo Ferrer in that game against Nottingham Forest. 122 wins in those 264 games. As I say, this is his 6th season, 5 straight seasons qualifying for Europe. They won the Copa del Rey in 2021-22. He hasn't really failed wherever he's gone, arguably at Real Madrid and West Ham, but everywhere else, huge success and being applauded by Joaquin on the sidelines there.
And Gordillo too. I think he's legendary in football, not just at Real Betis. The Chilean said something that I think is endearing as well as enduring in the pre-match chat with our reporter in the tunnel. He said, wherever I've gone, I've always wanted to entertain the fans of my club. And I think he does do that. And then if you can lump together consistently staying at a club for a long time, if he feels he's valued, the difference he made to Villarreal was absolutely astronomical, won the title at Manchester City. But he's always tried to give entertainment and rack up trophies and European appearances, and that's pretty special as a combination.
Absolutely. Well, we're underway with Betis kicking from right to left. Both these teams were in action in midweek, of course, because there was a midweek round of La Liga games, and Osasuna didn't play till Thursday, so no real disadvantage on this occasion for Betis having to play European football in midweek. Natan's first touch is a long ball forward, and it's a good one as well. Found Abde. Cucho goes down. Ball out for a throw.
I think when Osasuna are attacking, the wing-backs are going to be important, and both of them are entertaining. Bretones and Rosier know what their job is. They're capable defenders and often quite thrilling attackers. Bretones particularly has a really nice distribution of his left foot, which will leave a 3 at the back. And Boyomo, who's there, is the defender that Natan thinks he is. And genuinely, I think you and I are united in admiration for how Boyomo completes his tasks, the degree of leadership. He's a ferocious tackler. But equally, he's got times when he's just wandering about the pitch with a cravat and a cigar going, this is quite easy. So he's an odd mixture, and he's allowed by Lishi to play out too. So I find him a very interesting footballer to watch.
Absolutely, playing 3 centre-backs this season under Lishi, and Boyomo enjoying himself with forward rates.
Well, that's a step up, because he hit what he was aiming at, which is not something he always does. The only trouble is that it was Budimir, and I think, look, I mean, there's absolutely no question of him ever getting there. 2, there's no need for careering into the Croat like that. Frankly, that our referee has chosen, so far as I can see at the moment, not to book him is probably a factor of it only being 2 minutes in. And I will try to be temperate in what I say about the Brazilian, but he is so accident prone, and where the cables cross in his football brain I just don't know. Casillas, look at Casillas behind Pellegrini.
Pellegrini's long-term assistant, Casillas, yeah.
He's gone, listen, Nathan O'Bean, I don't have any more hair that can go grey. It's all grey already. That was an expression to me, was here we go again.
Well, the referee tonight is Victor Garcia. It's Valentin Pizarro who is the video assisted referee. They are down to their last two centre-backs, Betis, yeah. Pellegrini will be hoping that there's not any concussion here, which will prevent Nathan from continuing. He's very still on the turf inside the centre circle. That man there quite possibly would have to shift into the centre of defence. You just saw there Ricardo Rodriguez, but he's okay.
I think Altamira can also double up there from moving back from Bivotti. I think he has the football. I think he has the aerial coordination. But whether it would be Rodriguez or whether it would be Altamira is far from ideal. And this man is just a bundle of mysteries and mad decisions.
Well, 9 million they paid for him in the summer. They didn't have to take up the option after loaning him the second half of last season, but they did. So let's see how he develops under Pellegrini.
Exactly right. It's exactly right. There's Pellegrini as a footballer,
and of course was a centre back as well.
So
long
you'd
time
hope
ago now.
that, aside just from being a good coach, he can drill some of these.
Very good on the ground, perhaps not quite as effective in the air, and tonight will be a test against Budimir and Raul Garcia.
For a centre-half, he's quite petite.
Yep.
There's no getting around that. Mind you, so was El Raton Ayala. And boy, could he jump.
Yeah, you've set the bar high there.
But Ayala could jump up the header also. That's for the oldsters.
That goes to Sergio Herrera, who large portion of the blame as to why Osasuna didn't win in midweek against Elche. Elche scored very late on. It was a mistake by the goalkeeper, but there were also lots of mistakes before that. I think it was Riquelme, not Riquelme. Well, they didn't finish him. It was Becker. It was Geraldo Becker who had come on and he went through on goal. He didn't finish the move. He was dispossessed. And then there were a couple of tackles missed. And then came Sergio Herrera's error.
And one of the things that Lishi said in the build-up to this match is, I take that as part of stock and trade, that it will occasionally happen to goalkeepers. And for Herrera, who's such a ferocious competitor, whether he needed those words or not, they'll have sounded welcome to him.
Yeah. And back to his goalkeeper, a little bit short and nervously put out for a corner. By Pau Lopez, so he's living up to the billing at the moment, Nathan.
So first of all, control is poor. Secondly, the pass is underhit. He's pretty unaware about how closely he's been pressed. And I'm unimpressed.
Moncayela goes across to take the corner.
So who's picking up Budimir? That's the key thing.
Well, it's a huge threat in the middle. You've got the three centre-backs plus the two big centre-forwards.
It's Rodriguez, I think, has been told to be tight on the Croat, but
he's given him the slip already. In comes the corner, and Budimir got something on it, not enough to really guide it goalwards, and Betis can maybe break here. Abdi will lead them in that. He's got Anthony just ahead of him. Slides the ball into Fornals. The early cross was cut out by Rossier. The flag is up.
Abdi naive there in that when you've got two wingers on the same side and the other one is Anthony, and there's an easy ball outside, you know he's onside. It was a naive use of the ball, and Anthony is the type of player who will tell him so, and he'll be right.
Anthony got the late goal in midweek that gave Betis a draw in their first Europa League game of the season. Yeah,
they negotiated fantastically well to get him at the price they did, which was about a quarter of what Manchester United spent on the Brazilian to get him from Ajax. The club his parent club had not been keen at all on selling for that price, nor loaning. And when it happened on the last day of the transfer market, it was treated like Julius Caesar's homecoming to Rome.
Cucho Hernandez has got Anthony out to his right. He plays him in. The early cross goes beyond everyone and almost turned in at the back post. It was Rossier up against Abdi.
I think that cheeky smile on Abdi's face tells us that Boyomo didn't make as much or any contact with him as he was claiming. Now, and the referee's got this spot on. Look. Any chance?
Well, Betis corner is the result.
Amrabat taking Boyomo for a walk.
Well, Rocca thought about offering the short option. In it comes from Fornals. It's headed away by Budimir. By Arando, I should say. Cross comes in again from Fornals. Boyamo clears. Arando starts because Juan Cruz an allergic reaction just before the game, so he's not even on the bench tonight. Here's Fornals once more.
Yeah, Coach Lisi, again, it's one of the fortunate things we've got this reporter on the spot. Coach Lisi made it pretty clear that Juan Cruz would have started, and that the allergic reaction had been a shock to them all and was quite intense.
Catena. Boyama gives it back to the Argentinian. Into Budimir. Miranda plays the ball out to Bretones. Passing behind Bellerin, but Bellerin clears it only as far as Moncayola. Torro. Chirera goes long. Budimir wins the header.
And look who he's chosen to jump against. Budimir, the Croat with 17 on his back, has ordered Raul Garcia to try and push on the Argentinian, and exactly as you were saying in the build-up to kick-off, Budimir said, I'm going to test this Brazilian and see where he's flawed.
Nice ball in behind for Bellerin. He's got Cucho Hernandez in the middle. It's cut out at the near post by Catena. Anthony will take the corner. Just don't have quite the same aerial threat from their set pieces. Boyoma heads that one away. Comes out to Fornals, back with Anthony. Fornals makes a run. Anthony goes for goal. High and wide.
It's a big change from... There may well have been people watching in midweek in the Europa League game when it was Forest visiting La Cartuja. But the tactical idea from the corners there was to set up Anthony on the edge of the box for a left-footed volley. He's taking it today, and his use of the ball 11 minutes in has been by no means up to his best level. But he's a huge threat when he's allowed to take set pieces, because he's got such high-quality delivery.
Forward from Valentin Gomez. He's giving the foul against Boyoma. Ricardo Rodriguez takes it back. Anthony into Bellerin. Back it goes to Nathan.
And because Amrabat now has Roca as his partner in midfield, he's dropping 20-25 metres deeper than where he played in midweek. So that, in theory, he'll be a spare man, and he'll be able to wander into midfield, or he'll be able to bring the ball out and pass it, because Roca, understandably, with a fantastic creative passing range, should be the one of the two that plays us a little bit further forward. At the moment, the Moroccan not getting on the ball very much, but the concept, as you can see clearly here, there, is that he's dropped back, the Pivotti dropping back to centre half.
Well, it was Mark Rocker in the final third that helped set up Anthony. The referee's tackle from behind, but he's going to let it go, is he? No. He came on at half-time. 3 changes made at half-time by Manuel Pellegrini in that midweek European game. He wasn't happy at all with the first half performance.
And they really worked.
They did, each of them.
The man who hasn't repeated, because Fornals and Roca came on, is Riquelme. Riquelme had a very good game. Such a promising footballer. When he was starring for Atleti's UEFA Youth squad, in what is the youth version of the Champions League, there were teams around Europe queuing up for him. He spent some time at Girona, came back to Atleti. This is a club where he can shine, and if he plays like he did in the second half against Forest, he'll be a big, big favourite of both the coach and the fans.
Signed for 8 million from Atletico Madrid. And a lot of the local papers in the city of Seville this morning did have him in the starting lineup instead of Abdi, but it's Abdi that starts. This is Bellerin. Back it goes from Fornals to Amrabat.
2 things were used for this match, started as props for us, and they were showing that Betis pass the ball more often and more accurately and have more possession across the league so far than Osasuna. That pattern's been maintained.
Abdi against Boyomo and Rossier. Moncayola wins it back. Valentin Rossier into Boyomo.
Second time when the 2 Betis wingers have conglomerated on the left-hand side rather than playing Anthony on the right and Abdi on the left. Presumably trying to take advantage of the fact that Osasuna want to have wing-backs, and that in effect Rossier might be pushed a little too high up. There might be space in behind, but it hasn't functioned for Betis so far.
Towards putting in. Nathan wins the header this time. Forward from Mark Roca, a little bit of space for Anthony. Plays the early ball into Cucho. His first touch wasn't great. It almost runs to Anthony. It does, but he sends the shot wide.
Still a relatively new pitch, this. It was relayed 2/3 of the way through the summer in preparation for Betis' tenancy, which will be at least this and next season, at least. Stadium rebuilds are not projects that often finish on time.
Gomes forward to Bretones. For the moment, it's Budimir furthest forward. Raul Garcia is joining him into the penalty area. The cross takes a deflection. Goes out for a corner.
judged correctly, no foul. Play rages on. I like these standards we're seeing. Second time this season I've watched this referee. I enjoyed them both times.
Yeah, by and large this season, La Liga referees really letting games flow. We saw it yesterday from the master of letting the game flow in the Madrid derby.
#1 ref in Spain.
And the rest are following the lead for most of the time. And Moncayola forward to Rossier.
My point about Moncayola is that he was the archetypical central midfielder and he's been converted into a wide man.
Nicely played out. Well, I say nicely, a little bit too much on it from Fornals, which drives Anthony wide. 3 in the middle for Betis. Kucho trying to take up a position where he can be passed to, and he was found. He comes out to Fornals and he just pulls that wide.
Yeah, I think when the ball goes wide initially, I would argue Anthony could have been on his toes. But it ends up in an effort at goal. This was the effort on goal. And for a team that looked ragged and really had to go into overdrive to rescue a UEFA point as recently as Thursday, if there was any thought that they might look a little bit hungover, and I thought they might, that has not been the case in the first half hour.
Here's Moy Gomez. Budimir wants it, played in early. It is played in early. Holds it up for Raul Garcia. It didn't reach him. It does reach Rossier, but he got the shot all wrong. Well, there's the error again from Catena. Turns right back into trouble. And the smartest kid in the class is Fornals. He nicks it off of him. Abdi apologising to a team that he played very well for one season.
Took to the cup final, which was played here, and they lost. I think one of his best performances came the tie against Athletic, which the Navarran side, they love to win against Los Leones. They lose so many players to them. When they can beat him, it's a big, big deal. And we might argue, I don't know if you agree, because he was interesting at Barcelona. He's been something of a success at Betis. Maybe we saw the absolute best of Abdi's nascent young career when he was playing up in Pamplona. I certainly enjoyed him, and he felt like he was the flair element to add to a quite workman-like stodgy team.
Yeah, he's very much had the role that Brian Zaragoza tried to have last year, and it didn't work, and Victor Munoz is having this year, and it very much does work. But yeah, I agree that he had a very good season there. Always great post-match interviews as well. The memorable one about Xavi. What did Xavi ask you to do? And laughing, he says, well, take people on, take people on. And that's what I did. I just did take people on. Moncayola back to Catena. Budimir comes short. It goes instead to Rossier, to Boyom, I should say. That's a slightly overhit pass, but you could see what he was trying to do, get Budimir in behind.
I think that's called the long game, not the long ball, because the Croatian runs Natan all the way back to the halfway line, then loops, and as soon as he starts his turn and his charge, he's pointing to where he wants the ball. If the delivery's better, I think he's probably got an advantage on Natan. The youngster should be quicker. Whether he is or not, we'll wait and see. But it was a lovely piece of play by Budimir, who knew he could create space. It's just that the pass let him down.
Carlo Rodriguez trying to get away from Moy Gomez. Fornals wants the ball played in behind. It is played in behind. The flag for the moment has stayed down. Fornals looks up. There aren't too many options. The flag is now up.
So he's benefiting the Spaniard, who would, in the absence of Isco, normally command the number 10 position in the 3 behind the striker, right?
Yep. So what's you're leading to the question, what's going to happen when all 3 of them are available?
No, I've always argued that if Lo Celso can harness his ego, which is not an unhealthy thing, because he plays with a strut, he plays arrogantly, and it's beautiful to watch. And until Isco arrived, he was by far the club's leading scorer in that season. And I think there's plenty of room for Fornals, Lo Celso, Isco and Anthony in the same team, because Fornals works so hard.
Played in to Abdi. And very nearly crept in at the near post. It's an outstretched boot from Sergio Herrera. Well, Betis are pressing and currently looking far more likely to score the second than Osasuna to equalise.
Herrera starts it with a wild mistake, but when this comes in, he has a momentary flash of, oh, I know what's going to happen here. And therefore, he just takes a little bunny hop forward there to make the angle at the near post just slightly tighter. He does the splits. There'll be a little bit of high voice for 5 minutes, but it's a really good save given that he was slightly out of position just as Betis were about to pull the trigger.
Corner comes in. Sergio Herrera not convincing with the punch. In the end, it's Rossier who sends it away, only as far as Bellerin. Catena heads clear. And a chance to certainly drop into Abdi in this first half. His goal, by the way, the first he scored since the conference final. There's that unconvincing punch from Sergio Herrera. Amrabat plays off to Fornals. Back it goes to Pau Lopez from Valentin Gomez. And after a shaky first 5 minutes or so, when they were given a few problems at the back, Betis, and they've not really been tested by Osasuna. Although there's a poor pass out from you-know-who, Nathan. He makes amends. Well, he doesn't make amends. He benefits from the fact that Osasuna didn't take advantage of it. Here's Fornals, one through for Abdi. He's got Cucho Hernandez in the middle if he can find him. Catena makes the clearance.
To categorise this 34 minutes as an error-strewn game wouldn't do justice to some of the nice moments, pockets of football that we've seen, but each side have made more than their fair share of bloopers where concentration or first touch or use of the ball have been way below what they're capable of.
10 minutes that one and gives it to Mark Roca.
I find that interesting. There was, I mean, a decent round of applause there because, you know, everybody loves a trier. But this is an audience which doesn't get on your back quite as quickly. And Nathan is being given room. And I still am not sure that we've seen the benefits of this. Pivotti dropping back into the centre-half position that the Moroccan is doing. There's been no additional benefit of any kind to seeing Amrabat dropping in there in the style of, say, Tchouameni at Real Madrid or Sergio Busquets when he was at Barcelona.
But it's fair to say, Graham, that we're seeing it in part because they're not a bit nervous about the way that Betis built from the back when Nathan
used by both.
Ricardo Rodriguez, Mark Rocker once more. Osasuna can't get on the ball at the moment. I wonder just how tired Victor Munoz is. I wonder if he's got 45 minutes in him.
Well, a contrasting point is that Pellegrini was pretty clear that he wanted Rocket in from the start, but he specifically said, I don't think he's got 90 minutes in him either. Both of these sides will use their bench extensively. It will shock me if we don't see all 5 substitutes used by both coaches.
Goes to Boyomo. Less than 40% possession for Osasuna. Moncayola back to Rossier.
Budimir's had a little change of tack, leave Nathan alone, pinpoint the young Argentinian centre-half, but the ball won't come up that direction.
Well, it's Fornals with options, into Cucho Hernandez, he gets the shot away and it's into the back of the net, and Betis have doubled their league, and it was all so simple. Cucho Hernandez strikes, he got 5 goals last season, he's already on 3 for this.
To leave poor Sergio Herrera completely stranded. It's very, very poor by Osasuna's side that seem to be, one cruiser, an allergic reaction. They seem to be allergic to winning or getting points on the road.
Well, Stern looking Lishi on the touchline. He's going to have to change things drastically, either in terms of personnel or in the way they're playing in the second half. We've got 6 minutes left of the first half. They're 2-0 down. Moncayola plays the ball forward to Budimir. He releases Raul Garcia. Raul Garcia up against Nathan Bellerin, and Amrabat back to help out. They make the clearance. It comes out to Moy Gomez. Catena. That goes long. Budimir trying to run in behind Nathan. Nathan makes the clearance. Amrabat goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. A nasty one for him, and he does well to salvage the situation there and put that out for the throw.
The Brazilian is telling the Moroccan off. When Amrabat got in there and clipped it back to the goalkeeper, Nathan wasn't sure if it was meant for him to head away, and although Paulo Lopez deals with it, Nathan turned around and gave Amrabat a right good talking to.
Throw comes in from Miranda. Bellerin forward to Abdi, trying to get Cucho Hernandez away. Boyomo sends it back to Sergio Herrera.
Yeah, one of the things that the kid that you and I favour, Victor Munoz, has, apart from a really spectacular hit on him when he unleashes,
which we saw in midweek,
he gets on the ball and he drags the game along, because he will take on a player, commit 2 or 3, and he'll give players in red a breathing space to be in the right position to support, and he'll make the other team have to try and hunt the ball and not have as easy possession as you quoted the stat that it was 61-39 in favour of Betis, which is up and Osasuna down in terms of their possession stats this season. It's been relatively simple for Betis when they lose the ball to win it back. The ball has bounced off a lot of players in red, and they've been profligate.
Rossier, knocked on by Budimir, but out comes Paulo Lopez to clear. Well, those 3 defeats away from home this season have all been 1-0, so this is the first time they found themselves 2 goals behind.
I mean, in all honesty, has Budimir been served properly once? I don't think so. And the setup with Bretones and Rossier as really competent wing-backs should have been allowing the twin striker formation to get chances on goals. And 4 minutes before the break, they haven't had.
Header away from Valentin Rodriguez. It comes out to Moncayola. Here's Moy Gomez. Bretones trying to find Budimir, but Mark Roca steps in and makes the clearance and finds Anthony. Sending Aranda one way and the other.
And for a hot dog, I think. And there are a lot of fan bases who want product, but this is one where they want the product, but if they can have a little bit of caviar, if they can see one of theirs humiliating one of yours, they absolutely love it.
They love a showman, yeah.
And they've got the voices.
Well, they're certainly making themselves heard.
And it's nights like this that will have the Chilean coach wondering why it is so far that the board of directors haven't renewed him. He's their oldest coach ever at 72. But you have a suspicion that he's, if not antsy, he wants a contract renewal talked about sooner rather than later,
well,
right?
It was in the last league, I think, I'm not sure if it was ahead or after the last league game, but he seemed to be the one to mention it, and certainly said that the sooner it's sorted out, the better for everyone. And it caught certainly local journalists in Seville by surprise. It's very early in the season, but he wants to know. He wants, he's the most successful and longest serving coach, and he wants to know if they want him beyond the end of the season. And despite the fact that he's 72, you'd imagine there would be no shortage of clubs that will take the engineer
immediately.
Boyama's ball into the box, put him in his first chance, and it's headed wide, but that's what he'll produce. He got his head on the end of it. Wasn't the greatest of crosses, but it's a half chance for Osasuna.
And Nathan continues his pointing. Now, it might not be completely wrong that the cross-in is completely unpressed. It's completely open. The Croat is there well ahead of Nathan. He hasn't anticipated the cross, even though it looked obvious that the ball was coming into the middle. Budimir's so wily. He's been given nothing up to that chance today, and he very nearly clips it in the most difficult type of header. He very nearly clips it over Pau Lopez.
Kyola wins the header. Here's Budimir once more. Trying to find Raul Garcia, but couldn't, and Nathan sends it back to Pau Lopez. Pau Lopez slices his kick. He's not happy on the touchline. Adrian, Betis third choice keeper these days.
If you allow me some Charlie, the chocolate factory vocabulary, it's a golden ticket. If you're getting a decent wage, you're very nearly 40 and you're the third choice.
But you're in, storming through here, and in the end it trickles back to Sergio Herrera. And he ended up playing 19 games last season, Adrian, but that's obviously before the arrival of the other two. 4 minutes have been added on. The cross comes in from Moy Gomez, headed away by Valentin Rodriguez, out to Anthony, back to the Argentine, and he wins the goal kick. Here's the mistake from Boyomo, but there was still lots for Betis to do. Fornals wasn't closed down, and as I say, the speed with which Cucho Hernandez got the shot away. He's only 26, Cucho Hernandez. Seems like he's been around for a lot longer than that. It seems like a long time ago when he was coming. Was it Huesca with Jimmy Avila, of course, is on the bench today for Betis, and he's a former Osasuna player. He signed him from Columbus for 13 million, 19 goals in the last season for them.
He's added such tenacious, ferocious mobility. It might be that Bakambu is the more precise, powerful finisher of the two. Certainly he's got the higher class international trajectory. When Cucho plays, defences know that they're going to be snapped at all night, harried all night.
He's doing exactly that right now. Sergio Herrera plays the ball out to Catena. is Marc Roca trying to get away from Moncayola. Back it goes to Ricardo Rodriguez. His first touch was a little bit heavy. It stayed in play though. Kucha will chase this one down. Lucas Tureau comes across and wins the ball cleanly, says the referee. It's Boyomo.
That's consistent on what happened when Anthony tried to con Bretones into giving away a foul. The referee was nearby and he said, no, natural, just natural. And I think that's right. The less we see of those giving us fouls, the better for the flow of games.
Back into Bellerin. Anthony gives it back to Bellerin. Here's Fornaus. Garcia is riding on the centre spot almost, and play now has been stopped. Long ball forward from Moncayola, and Valentin Rodriguez got there first. This is the other incident a moment before when Kucha lost a boot.
Your identity. They'll know everything about you. Everything. You get pirated football. They get you.
The Real Madrid dugout in the summer of 2010 heralded the start of a new project at the Santiago Bernabeu. One of his first signings was Ángel Di María, El Fideo, the noodle from Benfica. The Argentinian winger would soon become a key figure in Los Blancos' lineup. He made his debut in La Liga in the first game of the championship, and 2 match days later, after getting some playing time along the way, got his first ever goal in La Liga against Real Sociedad.
Zizou. On to Di Maria. Di Maria's up against Carlos Martinez. It's a floated effort and it's in the back of the net. Angel Di Maria, almost in slow motion.
Di Maria was a crucial figure in this new Real Madrid team. Nevertheless, his first ever Clásico against Barcelona ended in an embarrassing 5-0 mauling. He also played in the return match, a 1-1 draw in the Spanish capital. The greatest success of his first season was Real's triumph over Barca in the Copa del Rey final. A tight-fought game which saw the Argentinian supply the crucial assist for Cristiano Ronaldo's decider. A year later, Real Madrid ended Football Club Barcelona's domination of La Liga. Mourinho's outfit broke all the records, 100 points and 121 goals. Those numbers are still valid to this day. The icing on the cake was a 2-1 triumph at the Camp Nou. It turned out to be the only ever time Di Maria was on the winning side in a La Liga Clásico. Injuries hampered the Argentinian's progress that season, and he missed a lot of games during the middle of the campaign. Despite that, he provided the third most assists in the team and hit the back of the net on 5 occasions. After a frustrating season in the summer of 2013, Real Madrid brought in Carlo Ancelotti, and along with him came Gareth Bale. Due to the Welshman's arrival, the Italian a role. And it turned out to be the making of Di Maria, who enjoyed his most successful season for Real. He provided the most assists in La Liga, 17 in all, and 2 of them came against Barcelona in his last ever Clásico. The best was still to come. The Argentinian played a key role in Los Blancos' triumphs in the final of the Copa del Rey and the Champions League. That dream season was Angel Di Maria's last in Spain. Nevertheless, the contribution of this thrilling winger will forever form part of the history of Real Madrid.
Key duel in Asturias, Real Oviedo and Levante face off in La Liga EA Sports after more than 60 years in a vital match for both sides. There's no room for mistakes here. Valencia comes with the ambition of winning again at Montilivi after 6 years without success, while Girona, hungry for points, will try to make their home a fortress.
Nothing is ever repeated in El Clásico, except for one thing. Every edition begins with a blank page, waiting for new stories to be written by the authors of history. The number of defenders to win the prestigious Ballon d'Or can be counted on one hand. One of the privileged few is Fabio Cannavaro. Named the best player in the world in 2006, he signed for Real Madrid that same year. Fellow Italian Fabio Capello occupied the dugout when Real Madrid won one of the most epic La Liga title races of all time. Cannavaro enjoyed the full confidence of his coach. That season he took part in his first Clásico, won by Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. He would miss the second game against Barca though through injury. Capello would not continue at Real Madrid the following season. He would be replaced by Bernd Schuster, with whom Los Blancos retained the title. Cannavaro remained an established starter under the German and was the defender most frequently used by the new trainer. Every Madridista remembers the second El Clásico of that season. Recently crowned champions again, the team received the guard of honour from their fierce rivals before beating them comfortably at the Bernabeu. Fabio Cannavaro missed that unforgettable game through suspension. He would be present though for the win at Camp Nou, his first victory on Barca soil. But the Italian defender would also suffer defeat in El Clásico. In his final season in Spain, he featured in 2 losses at the hands of FC Barcelona. The most cruel was undoubtedly the 6-2 result in the second half of the campaign. Cannavaro left Real Madrid at the end of the season at the age of 35. He goes down as one of the best centre-backs in the club's illustrious history.
San Mamés roars with the strength of the Lions in a battle of full commitment. Mallorca seeks to spring a surprise in Bilbao against an Athletic that refuses to give up the fight for the top spots. The Santiago Bernabeu Stadium prepares for another night of stars and spectacle. Villarreal arrives intending to stand up to a Real Madrid that remains firm in the race to reclaim the title.
Welcome back to La Cartuja, where Betis are making themselves very at home. Thank you very much. A good first 45 minutes against Osasuna. They lead by 2-0. Abdi got the first, and Cucho Hernandez got the second. He's now scored in the last 3 league games for Betis, 3 for the season. He's actually, along with Isco, the top scorer for this calendar year. The pair of them have got 8 goals in 2025. You don't see that too often, Graham. The umbrella's going up in the city of Seville. We're not in October yet.
Sympathy to the fans, because as they came in tonight, the temperature reading was 75 degrees in all Fahrenheit. And yet, I spent so many years to and from Seville. It doesn't rain often. Its nickname is the frying pan of Europe because it's the hottest city in Europe. But when it rains, sometimes it just absolutely, nature gets it out of its system for the next couple of months. I've seen a Sevilla game rained off with water pouring down from the roof onto the seats, and then pitch you can put canoes on, never mind cannon. And yeah, it's warm rain,
It's warm rain, it is,
something wet.
Well, this is Betis' last game at home for some time, because either side of the international break, they're away at Espanyol and then away at Villarreal, so they're not back here until the 27th of October. That man there hoping to come on in the second half against his former club. He got 29 goals for Osasuna, and even flirted with a possible move to Football Club Barcelona. Ukraine
left with complete indignity, was pushed out of the club. Their eminent technical secretary, director of football, Braulio, spoke very, very harshly about Jimmy once he was gone. He's a footballer who I think people like Listen, I'm not even going to defend why people like him.
He's anarchic. You never know what he's going to do
Something. He would drive me to absolute distraction. He goes over the edge of how you play the referee. In my book, he shoots from the wrong postal code, never in the wrong area of the pitch. He's got one thought in his mind all the time, which is to try and con the referee and to score a worldie that will get him the Puskás Award. And I've never ever seen him dominate his instincts and go, well, I'll tell you what, you know, I've been giving him power in these shooting thighs. I'm mobile and quick, and like Cucho, his pressing can be very, very good. And he had one blindingly good game, I thought, for Betis, which was against Barcelona, not last season, season before. He was absolutely tremendous, and he did channel this Rottweiler aggression that comes out of him all the time. But in terms of looking at football and becoming frustrated because of how he doesn't learn and what he does that's misjudged, Timmy Avila is one of the worst I've seen in my life.
Well, many of those sentiments are perhaps shared by Manuel Pellegrini, because Betis did try, as we look at the first goal again, Betis did try to move him on in the summer, but he didn't want to go, so he's still at the club. There is the first goal that we've seen tonight from Abde, and Osasuna really didn't respond to that at all. So we're waiting to see if there's a response from the coach in terms of the change of personnel. And there's the mistakes, the two mistakes for the at the start of the second goal. First, the loose pass from Valentin Brossier, and then Boyomo giving the ball away. No one closed Fornals down, and Cucho Hernandez did the rest. So let's see if we can see any new faces as both sets of players come out.
I think the link to what you talked about pre-match was the way in which, although Herrera doesn't look too pretty in the goal that Elche scored later on, you talked about a chain of events, a chain of errors. We saw it there, from Rossier to Boyomo, and then how Errando simply backs off Cucho. When he goes to try and block it, eventually legs are akimbo, and therefore it's easy for the shot to be on target. And when you get mistake following mistake following mistake, and several players are lacking in sharpness and concentration, that's the moment when, instead of only saying, well, the players need to lift the game, that's when you start to think, well, is the coach getting through to them? Do they fear the coach? Do they fear being dropped?
Well, the board is prepared for action. Let's see if there are going to be changes. There is Valentin Gomez, who has impressed again in the first half. He impressed perhaps even more so in midweek against Forest in Europe. 22-year-old playing alongside Nathan, and there's the man that as a neutral we very much wanted to see at the start of the game, and Osasuna fans will be happy because it's a double change, and shout out that Becker's coming on as well.
Becker's the one where you have to make a case for him, because he's so dynamic, so powerful, again, tremendous shooting power, and you don't quite get the goals that you would believe should be normal from the Dutchman, who I thought did a not bad job at Real Sociedad. The kid who's come on now, I know you share the affinity for him. He's a guy who started at Barcelona, was picked up by the Real Madrid Cantera, the youth system, and he's got chutzpah. He's a better version already, let's say, of Abdi. Very, very daring player, and the goal he scored in midweek against Elche was just absolutely epitome of what he does well.
Well, maybe it's going to be good old-fashioned 4-2-4. Graham will have a look at that as we get started for the second period. Betis kicking from left to right as we look, and Natin plays the ball out to Hector Bellerin, to Anthony, who skips away from Bretones. He's still got Moy Gomez in front of him. He's got Cucho Hernandez in the middle. Back it goes to Bellerin. Back being driven back by Raul Garcia. Not the best of back passes. He's been back tonight, and Paul Lopez goes long looking for Anthony. It's one back by Bretones. Moncayola. Boyomo. Harried by Cucho Hernandez. Still manages to get the ball out to Becker. Becker with the early cross, put him here, and just past the near post.
Football's a simple game. you win the ball, you pass it to the guy wearing the same colour shirt as you, get some width, you put it in the middle if you've got a good striker, and bosh, very nearly 2-1. There's been no time passed really to be properly analytical, but it looked to me as if it was 4-2-3-1. I like seeing Moncayola coming into the middle of the pitch. As commented in the first half that, again, the coaches always know better than us.
Amrabat going round in ever decreasing circles there. Another back pass that Pau Lopez is not really appreciating these. You can see the gestures towards his defenders. He's put the ball out of play.
He got 1 foot on the ball, didn't he? Moncayola deserves to be in the middle of the park dictating play. I think Raul Garcia is playing in behind Budimir, and there's width on either side with Victor and Gerardo Becker.
Yes, yeah, take this throw. Launched in towards Catena, who flicked it on, and it's headed out for a corner by Valentin Rodriguez. Well, he hasn't hesitated, he hasn't waited, he hasn't sent the same 11 out to make amends for a poor first half. He's acted. Let's see if that pays dividends. Moncayola with the corner. Into the near post. From Moncayola and headed wide in the end by Catena.
Ultimately, I think there's a massive chance there, because it's not simply that he's the tallest man on the pitch. He's all on his own. Netan, as ever, arriving on the scene of the crime, and Catena has both the elevation and the time to put that not only on target but in the back of the net. It's a let-off for Betis, and the first 3 minutes of the half, it's a very short time, have been a different face of Osasuna.
Fornals, Canapé, Cucho and Anthony in the middle, cross blocked by Rossier. Mark Roca puts it in, it's a deep one, it's too deep. Yeah, slightly surprising there that Catena didn't seem to know exactly where he is, because he tries to send it wide. He's very central. If he makes good contact, could have been Osasuna back in the game very early at the start of the second half.
So 3 minutes in, there have been 2 absolutely clear-cut chances for goals. The ball in from the right was absolutely beautiful. It was Budimir who got a touch and put it wide. Osasuna are putting a lot into this.
Victor Munoz has robbed Nathan. He's got Raul Garcia in support. Still Victor Munoz, saved by Pau Lopez, but an immediate impact now. He goes down clutching his left ankle. But, well, I was just thinking that it's not going to be quite the same for him in this formation. He's not going to have quite the freedom to wander. Well, it doesn't matter, because he leaves Nathan behind there, cuts inside Mark Roca and gets the shot away. It's well saved by Pau Lopez.
I think you can understand his choice here, because there are a lot of players who force themselves into positions like this and only ever think about shooting. Now, it's direct at the goalkeeper, but his option, and there was a spare man over, was Rossier. I think that when you've done the type of robbing and pushing forward that this young kid had done, he was well within his rights to shoot. The coach told us pre-match that Munoz had been feeling pain, and therefore the good thing is that rather than that being a recurrence of what kept him out from the beginning here, it was the kick on the ankle by Nathan and Victor Munoz that caused him to stop and squeal in pain.
Oyama clears up towards Becker. It's intercepted by Amrabat. To Abdi.
Even game.
Yeah, better versions perhaps of both sides, but obviously the difference was is they are 2 goals behind here. Out it goes to Rossier. Gomez back to Moncayola. Munoz back to Catena. Gomez to Rossier, into Becker. Becker with the cross early, and Nathan clears from the 6-yard box out for a throw. Garcia thinks about thinking quickly, but decides against it. He'll launch this into the penalty area instead. Catena is up from the back. Short in the end. To Moy Gomez. Moy Gomez with the cross. Too close to Pau Lopez, who could have caught that. He punched it instead. Natan's header up rather than away. Victor Munoz is underneath it. Anthony trying to dispossess him still. Victor Munoz, can he get the shot away? Up against Bellerin. In the end, wide. Well, he's made an instant impact, Victor Munoz.
We can be more extended in our analysis, but if you want a quick phrase about Victor Munoz, he makes things happen. And we've seen that since he came on for Real Madrid in the Clásico last season. If you followed youth football, I think it was available to be seen in the youth categories for Spain when he was at the La Masia with Football Club Barcelona, principally in La Fábrica. Real Madrid's star system is so vast now that it's a shame that there wasn't a place for a kid like this, a Spaniard like this. But on he goes with his career. They're proud of the way in which they're canteranos, popular clubs all around Europe, and he's made a big difference already for Osasuna, a big fan favourite.
He's pointing where he wants the ball there. Raul Garcia holds it a little bit longer, does play it to Victor Munoz. Back it goes to Bretones. Moy Gomez into Becker. Becker's shot is blocked. Lopez makes a mess of coming out for the catch. The flag is up anyway.
I'm with you. I'm not fully with our assistant referee tonight, and I apologise. I think it was Gungun Becker that was wide originally when Victor Munoz gets a shot or a goal, and maybe that then would have been the right option. But that is not a foul on the goalkeeper. It is exactly as you said, a complete screw up. The Spaniard and Budimir is hard done by.
Well, we almost played 10 minutes of the second half, and if what we've seen is an indication of what's to come, then these two teams have not finished the scoring because so many mistakes are being made. This is Abdi. Back to Ricardo Rodriguez. Anthony on this near touch line. Bellerin into Amrabat. Might be another back pass coming here. He doesn't want to have to play it though. Forward to Anthony. Amrabat once more being closed down by Moncayola. Nicely done by Amrabat. He wins the foul.
Yeah, between him and Anthony, they've been smart and calm. They kept themselves out of trouble. And our Chilean coach, our record-breaker for Real Betis, has seen enough.
Ruibal about to come on for the home side as the rain continues to come down.
The trouble with Ruibal is that although we now know he's coming on for Abde, there are 6, maybe even 7 positions where he can play, has played. Therefore, when he was warming up, Abde probably didn't know it was for him that the change was coming.
Yeah, we've seen him play as a fullback, as a wide player. We've seen him play as the furthest forward from Manuel Pellegrini. This is Abde's moment from the first half. And he slots in the opening goal of the game. Natan. Trying to find Ruibal. Back it goes to Ricardo Rodriguez into Fornals. Trying to get Marc Roca in behind there. Valentin. Rossier. Pass goes straight to Amrabat. Here's Fornals, who always seems to receive the ball in space. Such a clever player, as well as all the graft and the skill. And the shot from Anthony is pushed away by Sergio Herrera. Moncayola under pressure from Marc Roca, and the free kick is given against Roca. They take it quickly, they have to. The clock is ticking and they're 2 goals down here. The long ball forward towards Budimir. Victor Munoz is making a run through the middle. Raul Garcia is as well. The cross comes in early. Bellerin with the up and under to safety. Roca just drying the ball for Bretones, so you can get a little bit more distance on this throw. Headed away by Nathan. This time with the short throw to Moy Gomez. Back it goes to Moy Gomez. The cross comes in. It's headed away by Marc Roca. Cucho Hernandez back to Bellerin. Bellerin to Anthony. Cross comes Boyomo, but Anthony will get there first. So runner through the middle. It was Rui Bal. Ball just went beyond him. Boyomo goes back to Sergio Herrera. Less license for Bretones and Rossier to get forward in this new system, but they didn't really get forward too much in the first half at all as wing-backs. Now both his wingers in front of him. Becker on that far side. He plays the ball back to Rossier. Moy Gomez away from Marc Roca.
There's nothing fantastically sexy about what Osasuna have done with the ball, but you can see the benefits already. They're calming things down. They've strung 10-12 passes together for the first time in the match. There was whistling coming from the crowd who were, you know, surfing the wave of joy about the scoreline and how Betis were playing. And suddenly Osasuna are keeping possession and are finding a foothold in this match, and now are dangerous players on the ball.
Well, it is. Munoz tries to find Budimir. Ball headed away by Valentin Rodriguez. Moy Gomez trying to bundle his way through the crowd in the penalty area, but it's Rui Bal who sends that one forward to Anthony. A few better sights in football than Anthony with the ball at his feet, running into space. He's got options. One of them is Cucho Hernandez. Here's Amrabat. There's a man over here. He's found him. It's Fornals, and the angle was tight. He went for goal. It was blocked out for a corner.
Yeah, the move sputters out, but it was absolutely Molotov until then. It was really fast, really dangerous. Players looking up to find one another. Fornals doesn't trust a shot off his left foot. By the time he comes in, it's easy to block, but it was quick and it was daring from Betis.
Fornals playing with a huge smile on his face, which takes us back to what Pellegrini was saying before the game about the way he likes his teams to play. Fornals with that cross into the area, cleared by Budimir. Becker and Victor Munoz slightly furthest forward because Budimir and Raul Garcia were both back defending that set piece. Boyomo. Moy Gomez laid off by Budimir, who was caught by Nathan. Complains to the referee. He's happy for play to continue. Catena. Gomez out to Rossier. Becker's ahead of it. Becker with the early cross, looped into the area, and easy for Pau Lopez.
You say easy. It's the first thing he's done confidently and competently for about 20 minutes. It should be meat and drink. It should be absolute meat and drink. And we're beginning to see something that is only natural, which is this new pitch, and players have been losing their stud grip all night. But 2 games in the space of whatever, Friday, Saturday, 3 days, it's cutting up a little bit. The surface is not really. Betis love a flat surface, a snooker table surface, because they can pass the ball.
Raul Garcia had space to play a pass there. It didn't come off for him. It's Betis back on the attack. Anthony out to Rui Bal. Marc Roca.
Betis doing a version of anything you can do, we can do better. Keeping the ball, it's really nullifying possession. They've no creative intent just at the moment.
An indication of just how big the stadium is, by the way. You can see quite a few orange seats unoccupied, but 50,000 inside the arena tonight for this game. Here's Bretones, nicely past Bellerin. Bellerin has it once more. Tries to find Cucho Hernandez. Catena's clearance. He'll send it out for a throw. Cucho Hernandez. Played it into Mark Roca. It's run nicely for Fornals. Garcia made the clearance. Dispossessed by Budimir. Into Raul Garcia. That's good play. Nicely switched to Rossier, out to Becker. Misplaced pass by Salva Becker to Rui Bal. Mark Roca away from Moy Gomez, who fouls him, and that'll be a yellow card.
Simple for our referee because it's so clear cut and he's in the right position, but all night, 62 minutes in, our referee, I think, has been really sharp and giving the footballers, never mind the fans watching at home, giving the footballers what they ask, which is consistency of parameters, accurate decisions. He's been authoritative. There's been very, very little complaints from any of the footballers on the pitch to him. There was one moment when I think it was Cucho was a little bit miffed with the assistant referee on the near side, but our referee's been very good tonight.
Beiri gets it back from Mark Roca and will continue his run. Space to run into. Cucho Hernandez going to his left. He plays instead to Rui Bal. Rui Bal tries to find Cucho Hernandez. That would have been a clever pass. Boyoma headed clear. That's as far as Ricardo Rodriguez. He's Fornals once more. Fornals again. Can he get the shot away? The angle is became incredibly tight, and he has won the corner.
You're quite right that the Colombians' run to the left allowed really good space for Betis, and Rui Bal kind of misused it, really. There was an opportunity to clip that ball over the Osasuna defence, and he mishit it. And Anthony's the boss now that Chelsea's not in the pitch. Anthony's the boss of the set plays. Fornals accepts the hierarchy.
Altamira's about to come on. The corner will be taken first. Anthony floats it into the area. It was headed away. Fornals strong in the tackle. Feeds Anthony. Anthony's pass is blocked by Boyoma. It comes back out to him. Moncayola. Still Fornals is down. And the ball is out on this near side. Double change being planned, or I should say one player from each side about to come on.
It was very, very important tackle. It was a physical contest. I think Becker stands on his ankle or on his instep. Little wonder that's pain. No protection from the boots these days, none.
Absolutely, and let's see if Fornals now becomes the player taken off for Betis. Altamira was prepared to come on, but not necessarily for Fornals. Moy Gomez has gone off for Osasuna. Iker Munoz has come on. Altamira waits to see if there is a change of plan from Manuel Pellegrini. That would indicate that he's not going to be able to continue, although he then gives the thumbs up. So,
but you could not blame the Chilean coach one little bit if he decides, as important as this man is, I'd like to protect him.
Well, they've got Ludogorets in midweek before their next league game, the last league game before the international break. That's away in Bulgaria, so it's going to be a challenging season, but it's the sort of challenging seasons they want. They want to be in Europe, and Pellegrini's put them there every season so far.
They've set a marker for themselves in the Conference League final and re-qualification for UEFA competition last season, with a really daring, thrilling end to the season domestically, which I think drained them a little bit and left them slightly sitting ducks for Chelsea in the second half, that final. But they've shown they can do it. The squad remains very good. Injured players to come back very soon.
Munoz rolls this back to Moncayola. You can see the QR's code on your screens there. You can vote for man of the match. Graham's picked 4 candidates. Here's Boyoma. Gets it back from Rossier. Catena. Antonio still waiting to come on. The ball forward for Bretones. Pass it behind Victor Munoz. Bellerin is able to clear up to Cucho Hernandez. Moncayola sends it forward, but straight to a green and white striped shirt. Anthony gets on his bike once again down this right-hand side. And the last touch was off of Catena. Throw to Betis.
Yeah, the Brazilian is much, much quicker, but Catena has these telescopically long legs. Gets the challenge in. Change comes now. Altimira, who had a bumpy night midweek, and there's the coach's prophecy completely fulfilled. He said it's been hard work getting Roca fit. It's vitally important to us. Listen to the reception. And he made it very clear that he's playing his way rather than training his way back to match fitness. He said, I don't really know if he's got 90 minutes in him. It's proved not. Altimira is a different kind of footballer, a guy who I think the idea is to control and give Pausa more, not slowing the game down unnecessarily, but maybe not possessing the quick passing, accurate, creative passing that Roca has.
Victor Munoz flies past Anthony, but he flew past the ball as well, and Amrabat gives it to Anthony. Anthony's now giving it to Moncayola. Forward towards Becker. Now back to Catena. Position evening up in the second half, but it's dominating in the first.
Yeah.
Fornals into Altimira. He's continued his run, Fornals, and he's screaming that the ball didn't come back quickly for him. He now needs to get back on side. Now he's found by Altimira. Into Ruibal. Moncayola. Munoz unable to bring that one under control. Long one over the top for Budimir to chase, and well cut out by Valentin. Here's Amrabat. He's been dispossessed by Raul Garcia.
Valentin Gomez has been on the ball a lot less than was the case against Forest, but that has allowed him to read the game well. I think if Osasuna were dominating the ball sufficiently to be putting Budimir against the Argentinian all the time, that might be, well, a test of fire for him. But when Osasuna are playing hopeful balls forward, one of the things that the kid has got is a good reading of the match, and his position will be under threat soon enough when Marc Bartra's fit again, which is supposed to be in about two and a half weeks.
In comes the free kick. It was a challenging one, and that man Valentin was there with an excellent back header away. Bellerin plays the ball down the line, straight to Rossier. Yeah, no question that Llorente and Bartra is the first choice pairing, but they do look to have unearthed something. Well, let's not get too carried away. We've seen him in a couple of games, Graham, but there looks to be real talent there. He's 22 years old, just arrived in Europe from Argentina.
Would you agree that over your career, when you've seen footballers arrive from Argentina, it's often they're accustomed to playing at a slightly slower pace? It's very intense football in terms of how much it matters, what kind of tackles you get.
Someone else trying to get in behind Nathan.
Guido Rodriguez at the same club would be an example. It took him a long time to get up to the pace of the game, but then he did become a full Argentinian international. And Valentin Gomez doesn't seem to have that gap. He seems to be at the pace of these games pretty quickly, and he's got a nice use of the ball off his left foot.
Bretones there to deliver another long throw into the Betis penalty area. Flicked on by Boyama, but goes behind.
know if Pal was going to distribute quickly, but Budimir wasn't taking any chances.
You're in. Forward to Fornals, who's run off that inadvertent ankle stamp that he received a few moments ago. Pass is cut out by Munoz.
Fornals has taken a right duffing up for his glory this evening, and he just waved his arms and, why always me? Referee, come on. The pace has dropped, the intensity has dropped, and at the moment Betis will be thinking, if we can keep it like this, then the 3 points are ours.
Forward to Cucho Hernandez. Bretones comes away with it.
A flurry of intensity that we saw for the first 10 minutes of this half is what I'm talking about. It's dissipated, and at the moment Betis are managing the game adequately.
And it's game management that's let Osasuna down on several occasions so far this season. Betis is showing them how it's done in terms of holding a lead, even Nathan there, getting the ball at least to safety, up to the halfway line. Moncayola into Bretones.
I think he caused his goalkeeper a slight tightening of the sphincter.
Back to Moncayola. Betis fans in good voice. They sense the first back-to-back victories so far this season. Budimir puts that one wide.
And Bretones letting me down a little bit. I talked about the fact that he's a decent wing back. He's got good left foot delivery. He didn't find a target there. He put it in an area whereby Budimir wasn't really going to be able to do any damage. He's an unfortunate start to see Bretones sent off for an offence that I'm not sure was red cardable when they played at Bernabeu and lost 1-0 with about 8 men at the back. Went there for a point, didn't get it. He got a red card that he didn't deserve. Out for a couple of games, but back now, and Osasuna not quite out of this match, Pete, I don't think, not quite.
No, and certainly the old cliche that a goal would change it. Not if it's at this end though, or it would change it in the wrong sense for Osasuna. Well, in the end it was Rossier who made the block. It was a substitute Ribal with a shot. Out to Victor Munoz. Tries to go past Bellerin and runs the ball out of play. This is a different situation for Victor Munoz, isn't it? Because we've seen him so far this season, Graham, and he's been playing off the centre forward with almost complete freedom, and he's now very much got a kick to that left touch line. Just limits him a little bit in terms of well, obviously he's still the same player when he gets the ball to feet, or it's played in ahead of him. I'm not sure what Bellerin...
Yeah, whatever he's doing, whether this would be Victor Munoz's preferred position or not, his direct rival, Bellerin, from the Barcelona cantera, worked his way through Arsenal years. Bellerin was absolutely not happy. Whether it's about the bench being too slow to get on for Fornals, rather than it being worrying that Victor Munoz was giving him a hard time, but it looks now as if Bellerin knew that Fornals was ready to come off, the bench were reacting too slowly, and the authority which Bellerin has was reflected by the fact that 72-year-old Manuel Pellegrini raced along the touchline to find out what he was angry about.
Well, Fornals is battered and bruised. He might need some ice on those ankles, but he's been absolutely superb in this game, and he's a major reason why Betis are 2 goals to the good. And that's why he's being applauded off by the home supporters inside La Cartuca. On comes someone who you were speaking highly about before the start of the game, Graham.
Yeah. I like both of these footballers who have come on, Ortiz and Riquelme. I think that Riquelme needs to be trusted by a coach and played week in, week out. Ortiz comes from the youth system he found it hard against Forest. He was bullied physically, but he was so tenacious that it added to the feeling that they've got a potential treasure on their hands. And for those who tuned in to watch Pablo Garcia, sorry that he's so good that he's playing for Spain tonight, actually, against Morocco in the World Under-20 World Cup in Chile. And clubs who promoted kids who are still of under-20 age just have to largely suck it up, albeit that...
Now Garcia trying to get the shot away. It's been cleared by Valentin and then by Altimira. He's continued his run, Valentin Gomez, and flips that nicely in towards Ruibal. It's headed out by Catena. Yeah, you went through the talent roll call earlier on, didn't you, when you talked about the possibility of Fornals and Isco and Abdin Lo Celso all being in the same team, and you made sure you added at the end the name of someone who's going to be something pretty special. And let's hope it is at Betis.
He's a little bit of a Spanish Mastro Antonio. Similar positions, similar pressing, aggressive, bullish strength, daring. The crowd adore him. But he's working for his national team in a challenge to get out of a group that includes Morocco and Brazil. It's not an easy group at all, and they're going to miss him when he's away.
Spain's first time in the Under-20 World Cup, or at the Under-20 World Cup for 12 years, is it? And he's going to be an important player for them, and then an important player when he comes back for Betis. Boyomo forward to Bretones. Back it goes to Boyomo. Boyomo and Catena made errors for the 2 goals. Desperate to make amends, but Boyomo's didn't do too good a job of it there because he gave the ball away. They have won it back now, and it's played forward by Munoz into Budimir. Not too much in the way of support. Victor Munoz is arriving now. Still Victor Munoz. Across far too close to the keeper. He had Moncayola in space on the edge of the area. Bellerin and Pellegrini just clearing things up there with an embrace, although not particularly wholehearted from Pellegrini.
I have a feeling that when he ran down the touchline to find out that Bellerin was really ticked off and was having a go at the staff and the substitutes, when the big Chilean with the Easter Island face got there, I don't think he was too chuffed, but...
Altimira. Into Anthony. You can see the 2 Osasuna substitutes waiting to come on. Asia Assombella. He's one of them. He can keep up as the other. So yeah. Last throw of the dice.
Yeah, the sound of dice rolling, that's definitely true. But there's time. In the other central defence, you always know that there's the feasibility of an error. Have Osasuna got the wit, the aggressiveness to end this long streak of defeats on the road?
Well, Assombella is an attacking midfield player, 20 years old, 3 goals last season for the B team. Very highly thought of. Block prevents Munoz's pass making any progress. Goes back to Catena. Here's Moncayola. With the cross, he hasn't had his introduction, hasn't had the desired impact so far. Let's see what Riquelme can do here. He's got Anthony to his right. Hernandez makes his way into the penalty area.
Anthony looks disgusted with himself so that nobody else has to do that job.
Moncayola can carry it forward for Osasuna into Bretones. Out to Victor Munoz. Chica Munoz. He wants it back, Victor. He made a run, but it'll go back instead to Boyomo. One-nil, 1-0, 1-0, and currently 2-0. That's Osasuna's away form, and that man there, Alessio Lisci. Well, John Moncayola is the player who will be replaced by Osambella. And Kiki Barker replaces Rossier. So a winger replacing a fullback on the far side, and a very attacking midfielder replacing box-to-box in terms of the Osambella Moncayola change. Let's see if the changes pay dividends for Osasuna. They are running out of time. We've got just over 7 minutes left plus added time. Boyomo plays the ball forward.